これより1日目閉会セッションを行います。ご着席いただきますようよろしくお
Thank
願
you,
いします。
everybody. We would like to get started on the final session of today. If we could invite you to take your seats.
それでは本日の締めくくりと2日目のプログラム紹介を
So as the closing for today, we will have some words about the end of today and also some information from tomorrow, presented by the staff and coordinators of the Japan campaign to abolish nuclear weapons. We will hear from the Nagasaki coordinator, HAYASHIDA Mitsuhiro, the Hiroshima coordinator, TANAKA Miho, and the staff member, ASANO Hideo. And I am an intern of the campaign. My name is KURAMOTO Memi. Thank you so much.
皆さん、こんばんは。 初日、
Good evening,
終わりましたけれど
everyone.
も、いかがだったでしょうか。
So we've reached the end of day one. How was it, everybody?
核兵器を
Thank you so much for the big round of applause. On behalf of the Japan campaign to abolish nuclear weapons, my name is Hideo. I'm the Hiroshima coordinator, Miho. And I am the Nagasaki coordinator, Mitsuhiro. And intern, Memi. Thank you so much, everybody. So we had a really full day today with so many different topics, so many things to learn as well. I'm sure you're quite exhausted at the end of today. Hayashida-san, what was the session that left the biggest impression for you? So yes, thank you. And it's so great to see so many people still here right at the end. So I've come here from Nagasaki. So within the sessions today here in the hall, each and every one of them was really packed. But more than that as well, knowing that there are so many people joining us online as well. So I thought it might be good for us to share a little bit about what kind of people are here in the venue. We have people really from very young people to hibakusha, A-bomb survivors from many different generations, from different parts of Japan and abroad, also from many different backgrounds as well. We have had people who said that they came all the way from Nagasaki or Hiroshima or Shikoku on their own just to participate in this forum. School teachers who said that knowing that this is coming to the 80th anniversary of the atomic bombings, thinking about, or they came to learn hints about what they can teach in their classrooms. Also, people, for example, who are only looking at things online usually, but wanted to come in person for the first time, or I really felt that everybody felt their own meaning for being here today. The fact that this year is marking the 80th anniversary since the atomic bombings, this is something, of course, even just within Japan, we're looking at the keyword of how we carry on the messages of the hibakusha, but within the forum today, what I was really able to reaffirm as well is nuclear weapons is not just about passing on the experience of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That is, of course, a very important part, but at the same time, all people who are living in this nuclear age are impacted by this, and each and every one of us feeling this agency to be involved is so important. And I really felt that in the space here today. Everybody who is here because we've already taken the agency to be here together in person. So I personally feel so empowered by this, and it was a really fulfilling day in that regard. Thank you so much for this comment. And yes, this is exactly what we've been aiming for, looking at exchange beyond generations, beyond backgrounds, and having this really inclusive campaign is what we've been aiming for. So we hope that this has brought us a step towards realizing this as well. Miho, you spoke in the first session. How was that? So I really felt that I had something even beyond my own capacity that was left to me. So I felt a little bit of pressure at first to be facilitating such a session. But as I mentioned during the session as well, which was on imagining and creating a world without nuclear weapons, we had people from different fields of expertise, different backgrounds, but sharing together our reasoning for why we are together aiming for a world free of nuclear weapons and building this kind of alliance and solidarity together. I was really glad to be in charge of such an important session in that regards. After the session finished, though, I had many warm words from people as well, which made me relieved and felt that maybe I did fulfill my role a little bit. But the fact that we're able to come together and share ideas, exchange different opinions and so on in this kind of space is something so important. And of course, it's often to get taken up just thinking about our everyday tasks, what we have to do, and homework and this sort of thing. And so it's often this kind of visioning can be put off a little bit sometimes. But rather than just postponing that, I think in the forum here today and tomorrow, being together with people who we are meeting for the first time, or many reunions of people who we haven't seen for a long time, I think looking at how we can have a more sustainable movement in regards to this and work together. And I think these conversations are forming a very core energy for our work together towards the abolition of nuclear weapons. So I'm just so glad for this chance. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miho, so much. And it was a really wonderful kickoff for the forum, I thought, as I was watching from the side of the stage. And Memi, who's been the wonderful MC for the whole day. Let's have a round of applause for Memi. So Memi was the MC today, but how was your impression? So I was facilitating overall, but I'm not really very good at that, to be honest. It's something that I'm quite not so confident about. So maybe I wasn't so clear in what I was saying and so on, but I was so glad to be able to have this role. And also having this kind of opportunity to have people both in person and online is something which we're so grateful for. I am living in Kyoto. It's not one of the A-bomb cities. So usually I am joining things online, being not in Tokyo or Hiroshima, Nagasaki. So actually this was a chance to meet many people for the first time in person, actually, who are involved in these movements together. So being able to build these kind of connections together was something that was a great joy for me today. So of course, working to abolish nuclear weapons is a large task, but coming together and building our connections in person, sharing our passions, sharing our concerns, sharing our ideas together in this kind of gathering is a first step towards this and can help us get closer to our goal of abolishing nuclear weapons. This is, of course, something not only for Hiroshima, Nagasaki, not only for Tokyo. There's things that you can start in Kyoto. There's things that you can start anywhere that you are in the world as well. So I hope that we can continue to make use of any opportunities that we can meet either in person or online from now on as well. Thank you so much. And Memi will also be the overall MC for the final session tomorrow. So look forward to that, everybody. And so one of the things that was in common with us, we were all saying it's so great to be able to come together in person. Of course, this is something even more following the years of the pandemic as well. Well, of course, we have many people joining us here online. Those of you who are close enough to do so, we hope that you can join us in person tomorrow. Let's have a look at the screen if we can. We have a slide that we would like to share. So this is, as actually Kawasaki Akira shared this very briefly in the opening words today. So today we had plenary sessions with many different guests here in this main hall. Tomorrow will be a very dynamic and interactive day with so many sessions all happening at the same time throughout this campus, actually. I'll share just a few of the highlights or some things to pick up if I can. So first of all, there are 3 different parts. This all says February 9 on the top. The same information is available on the English website of the forum. We have this Miyashiro Hall and also room 203 and room 205, where there will be sessions held all day. These will be all also streamed online, and there will be full interpretation simultaneously between Japanese and English for each of these sessions. These are all being created by different participating organizations themselves, actually, to share their different initiatives or ideas and so on. There are 15 of them. I don't have time to introduce every single one, but Miho and Mitsuhiro, you're both speaking tomorrow. Which session will you be presenting at? So I will be speaking in classroom 205, and this is a session on Kazakhstan's nuclear legacy and the TPNW, our path to a nuclear-free future. So we are coordinating this session where we will also be working together with a professor from Hiroshima University who has for many years been researching the impacts of the nuclear testing in Kazakhstan, Professor Kawano, and also Professor Hirabayashi Kyoko. And we will also have young activists from Kazakhstan, 2 of them, in fact, joining us live online from Kazakhstan to share as well. They have just launched their own organization recently, and so we will be hearing about the actions of youth in Afghanistan towards nuclear weapons abolition as well. well, and how they are also looking at, for example, the Kazakhstan's government role at the moment as well, who is, of course, the president of the upcoming third meeting of states parties of the TPNW as well. So we'll be looking at also how we can deepen solidarity between Japan and Kazakhstan on this occasion as well. So I hope some of you will be able to join us for that. We're really looking forward to that session amongst the many other ones, of course. Mitsuhiro, how about you? So I will also be speaking in room 205, and this is a session called Learning from Nihon Hidankyo and how to inherit the message of no more hibakusha. In this session, we will be looking at particularly the message which Tanaka Terumi of Hidankyo shared in the Nobel lecture that he gave in Oslo upon receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. He introduced the organization No More Hibakusha, which is working to pass on the stories and record the stories, the testimonies of the hibakusha as well. So this will be a talk session together with that organization. When we talk about the experience of the hibakusha, many people think about what happened on August 6 in Hiroshima and August 9 in Nagasaki, focusing on that day. However, within this organization's work, what they are doing as well is looking at what the continued experience of the lives of the hibakusha has been since then, right through until today, and also the path of the hibakusha-led movement as well. What was it that led to Hidankyo to be involved in its work, both for nuclear weapons abolition and also calling for state compensation for the A-bomb damage? So we'll be learning more from Hidankyo about this background, and also not only looking at the testimonies, but also looking at how to preserve different materials recording the activities of the hibakusha movement as well, how that can be saved, how that can be recorded, how that can be preserved and shared with future generations as well. And so this is the kind of space that we hope to create in this session that I'll be speaking in tomorrow morning. So I'm really looking forward to both of those sessions. There are many different things happening all throughout the day as well. I wish we had time to introduce all of them, but we unfortunately don't. So please take a look at the website for the full information. If you can take a look at that, you can see in English as well the list of both the overall information of the session and also the different speakers, and of course the link to join if you are joining from online as well. So we hope that you can take a look at the homepage and join us at each of these sessions as you like. If we can go to the next slide. So that was the information about the sessions which will be streamed online. For those of you who are able to be here in person at the University of the Sacred Heart, we actually have sessions going on in 8 further rooms as well. So I won't go into detail, but we have in room 213, for example, a hibakusha dialogue where we will have A-bomb survivors who are coming there to speak in person. Of course, this is a chance to go and listen to their testimony, but also discussion, having dialogue interactively together with the hibakusha. And for English speakers, there will be a session at 11 a.m. specifically for you as well. We will be also having a room which is focusing on drafting the recommendations, which will be taken to the third MSP. We also have a youth discussion, which Memi has been in charge of. Memi, do you want to say some words about that? And so the youth room will be in 217. And so all day tomorrow, we will have introductions of the works of various different youth organizations, 5 different groups actually, through panel exhibitions. So you can come and look at that anytime during the day as well. This is looking at, for example, this importance now of how young people can continue to take on the stories of the hibakusha. But for young people who are wanting to rid the world of nuclear weapons, what is their motivation? What kind of work are they involved in? And so on. We have some panel displays and exhibitions, so you can come and look at those in room 217, and they will be there all day, so you can feel free to come in and take a look anytime that you like. And then there is an organization that I'm involved in called No Nukes Tokyo, and we will be having actually a consultation session for young people who are involved, including some young people who are thinking of being involved from now in the future, but they don't know where to start. And so to learn more directly what other young people are involved in. So we'd like to ask any youth. This is from 245 for the youth meet and greet. Unfortunately, English interpretation will not be provided for this session, but this is a chance for local young people to come together and think about what brought you to be involved, what you're doing every day, what different challenges you're experience and so on. But of course, those of you who are not youth as well, you're very welcome to come and visit the space as well. Don't feel that you're not welcome in the youth room 217. So thank you. We look forward to seeing you there. And so, Miho, you'll also be in another talk session there, right? Yes, in the youth room 217 from 11 a.m. I will be speaking in a dialogue called Youth Activist Discussion Considering Nuclear Weapons from the Perspective of Colonialism. This will be led by a philosopher called Nagasaki, who is involved in developing many different dialogue sessions for people from different backgrounds here in Japan. This session, unfortunately, also will be only provided in Japanese, but this will be a chance for people to come together, to enter into dialogue, to discuss together in a very safe space as well. And so we'll be looking at the theme of colonialism when we look at the nuclear weapons issue as well. Within my own work as well, looking at nuclear weapons, I feel it's very important for us to look at it from this perspective of colonialism. And me personally, I think that I still have a lot to learn, a lot that I need to even work on more. So I hope that this is a chance that we can come together and think about this, which is also connected, of course, to the climate crisis, to gender, to different conflicts and killings and so on that are happening all around the world. And this is something which is all interconnected. So as a member of this society, this is something that we can look at how we can contribute together, how we can come together, and we can see the different biases within our society and also the different intersectionality as well. So this is what we'll be discussing during that session. So if any of you would like to come and join that dialogue, it's in the youth room from 11 a.m. So thank you very much. That's another invitation. And so as Hayashida Mitsuhiro shared, at the moment we have people joining us here from all over Japan. So we also, of course, have many different groups here from Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So actually room 215 will be the dedicated Hiroshima Nagasaki room. What will we be doing there? So there we'll be having different groups and individuals from Hiroshima and Nagasaki who are sharing different sessions there as well. To give a brief introduction, for example, when we're looking at the 80th anniversary of the atomic bombings, what is happening in Hiroshima and Nagasaki these days? The hibakusha, we feel that, or we've started to discuss what will the future look like when there are no more hibakusha with us anymore? Whether it's having, for example, visitors coming either from overseas or coming from school trips to Hiroshima, Nagasaki, what kind of education should we be doing for them when they cannot hear the first-hand testimonies? Or also, of course, Hiroshima and Nagasaki will still continue to be the A-bomb city. So what kind of legacy do we need to preserve? And what is the significance of these cities? We are feeling that this is something which we as citizens in Hiroshima and Nagasaki need to be looking at. And so within the many youth who are speaking here today, for ourselves as well, this is something where there's a hope for us to see how we can really lead this work ourselves, but at the same time, there are, of course, different issues of not having enough people, not having enough funds, and many other different social issues, which are, of course, equally important. So how do we have this priority, or seeing how the city's priority maybe for peace and disarmament is declining somewhat with many other social challenges existing. So these are some of the dilemmas that we're facing at the moment. So rather than talking about large abstract issues, we hope that in the Hiroshima Nagasaki room, we'll be having very concrete discussions about this. So please come and take a look. Not only in this room, but in many other sessions, for example, at the lunchtime, together with other participants. Actually, I had the chance today to join the discussion with Hinamura from Maui Nui to speak about her situation, but making sure that we have these kind of interactive discussions, not only listening unilaterally to presentations, but sharing with each other, what are your motivations for being involved in the movement? What is it that encourages or empowers you to continue? And I think this is how it's connected to our everyday life as part of today. So when we think about the fact that we are in this critical period where nuclear weapons could be used at any time, how do we go beyond national borders or any other backgrounds and differences to discuss and to think about this together as well? So that is what will be happening in the many rooms in building 2 tomorrow. So we hope that you'll be able to come and think about not only listening, but also sharing and speaking yourself, and that can maybe open up some new doors for future possibilities as well. So please come tomorrow expecting yourself to be not just unilaterally listening, but joining in these conversations actively together. Thank you very much. So those of you who are either online or here in person, we hope that you can join these different sessions tomorrow. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined us here today. A big round of applause once again. And so tomorrow, we hope that we will have very active discussions throughout all the different sessions. So those of you who are able to see here at the University of the Sacred Heart, or anybody else online as well. So some important information to close. All of the work of the Japan campaign, including this forum, is put together thanks to the donations of generous citizens like yourselves. You may have noticed donation boxes at the venue. We also have a system for monthly supporters to sign up as well. So we hope that if you felt there was something meaningful in joining today, you will consider making some support to ensure that we can continue these activities in the future also. So we look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. And Memi, I'll hand over to you to close the first day of the International Civil Society Forum to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. Thank you very much for today, and we hope to see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.